Does Bola Tinubu have the health and mental competency to be Nigeria's president in 2023? Nigerian presidents are not required to pass mental health exams or psychological and psychiatric evaluations before taking office, which is a problem in itself, but let's continue. But there should be a transparent procedure in place for assessing the physical or mental capability of every presidential candidate to carry out the duties of the office. Maintaining the proper balance between medical privacy and the public's right to know can be tricky, especially when the patient is a president or presidential aspirant like Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Some claim, though, that there must be limits on medical disclosure, arguing that a president and candidates for president deserve a reasonable degree of privacy when it comes to their medical records. That is true. However, can the people request for it and be like, you know what, we have seen certain signs, and you being a public servant serving us, we are demanding that you undergo some tests so we know where you stand. I don't think it's far-fetched for people to ask that. But Bola Tinubu may dismiss speculations that he's running for the 2023 presidential election, but political insiders see him as a front-runner alongside Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. The Nigerian national elections in 2023 could be one of the most consequential in the country's history. But what if Tinubu confirms the rumors about his presidential ambition? The question is, does Bola Tinubu have the mental and health competency to be Nigeria's president in 2023? Why do I ask these two crucial questions, and below are the major reasons? First, Tinubu stumbled in Kaduna. The national leader of APC, Bola Tinubu, stumbled as he made his way to his seat at the Arewa House Banquet Hall, Kaduna, on Saturday. Tinubu, who chaired an event held in honor of one of Nigeria's founding fathers, the late Sir Ahmadu Bello, delivered a speech at the occasion. He had crashed between the two chairs and was heading to the ground before his aides and some guests rushed to his side. With their support, he got back on his feet and walked away. Could Tinubu be stumbling a sign he has health issues, or is it just a mere coincidence? And the second reason is Tinubu's statement on FG recruiting 50 million youths. Former Lagos State Governor Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said he had made an error while calling for more youths to be drafted into the army in a bid to adequately tackle the nation's security challenges. The advocating for national employment and giving an inference for a security policy that could stem the tides of insurgency, Tinubu asked the federal government to recruit 50 million youths into the Nigerian army. Could this also be an indication that Tinubu might actually not be able to cope with the pressures and rigors of being Nigeria's president? Once they said is a mistake, but twice is a red flag. 100%. Debates on public issues and where candidates stand on them have traditionally represented the focal point of presidential campaigns. It has, but when it comes to an official presidential debate, they never show up, but yet are still allowed to be candidates. That's tricky. So yeah, in recent decades, however, rather than asking where candidates stand on the issues, the public increasingly wants to know who they are. The issue of character has thus come to dominate presidential elections, while there is increasing public awareness that psychology, judgment, and leadership qualities of presidential candidates count. The basis on which of these judgments should remains unclear. However, I trace two related but distinctive approaches to the issue of presidential character and psychology. The first concern is the mental health of our candidates and president. Are they emotionally and personally stable? Is their temperament suitable for the presidency? The second concern is character. Is the candidate honest? Does he possess the necessary judgment and motivation to lead with the tremendous responsibilities and pressures of the office? Well, the fact remains you would never necessarily know, but the fact that they think they can break a law or do something and then believe that they can get away with the belief that they are above the law is absolutely unacceptable, and that will not continue. So again, do your thing. But if the public should, catch you or find you guilty, or you're just caught red-handed and you're proving to be guilty and you do not go to jail or serve the time or whatever, then there will be a problem. And I think that we can't forget or let things like that slide. So again, we can never really test the character of somebody, but if they know the office, the respect and the demand and the people that they're serving, if they understand the kind of people that they're serving, first of all, they will know that certain things, at least with respect, hide it from them. Well, this person says, in my opinion, the writer, the public has the right to know the psychological assessment of every presidential candidate before voting for them. The idea of requiring presidential candidates to undergo mental health evaluations must rise before the general election campaign of 2023 for the sake of good governance. That is true. They have the right to know, because I love that the conversation is changing and we're asking for these kind of demands rather than, oh, is he from my tribe, what religion? Please, okay, we're here for the betterment of everybody, and he's not going to serve just a faction of Nigerians or whatever. But yeah, at first I genuinely thought with the NSAS protest and the sort of bad marketing for Tinubu, especially Lagos, I just thought that, this, it could never happen. He could never necessarily have the confidence to, be or try to be a presidential aspirant, because he knows that the Lagosians will just be like, excuse me. But again, you can't, Nigeria will shock you, because it's a thing of, if Nigerians, well, the ones that we know of, could vote or could justify Buhari winning a second term, yeah, it's sad. I don't know how many signs we need or how many. Yeah, it just is what it is. But yeah, and I also think that 2023, we need to take the election process very seriously. Everybody needs to be involved. Certain things that needs to happen. Do your campaign, but the procedure. For example, I always stress the presidential debate. So if there's a presidential debate, there's a screening for your test. There's visiting to certain places and your campaign. Let's go through the process as says in the constitution, and we have to be strict. If you miss one of these things for whatever reason, you're gonna have to be disqualified. It sounds harsh, but Nigerians are not playing. You're playing. If you're gonna be here about our futures and we're gonna put you in a place of power, you've got to be there 100%. And so yes, we've got to be very strict, very harsh. Make this system just, not that we have a lot of options anyway, but if we don't like the options, let us not feel like as if we can. Is it a thing where if let's say generally the people in the country are not okay with the options that they have, can they just decide, what, we're just not gonna have an election until we have somebody? Because again, if they're not comfortable with anybody that's gonna be there, we can't just choose who says we're forced to choose whoever is there and just weigh up who at least is better, who is a better inadequate person than this other person? Doesn't make sense. But 2023 is coming. We need to prepare. That's the main thing. Put what you think in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.